My name is Juliana Rangel. I am a postdoctoral research associate at North Carolina State University in Raleigh, North Carolina. I study the reproductive behavior of honeybee queens. So in general, I'm interested in honeybee biology and behavioral ecology. And I am here today because my mother is a member of the board of trustees of Madre, and she's also a volunteer. And so I happen to be in town, and I'm more than happy to talk about my experience as an immigrant that has gotten quite far with my college education. And I want to share my story. I did not always want to be a scientist. I knew that I wanted to do something related to the environment and the tropics, and something related to maybe biology or something like that. After high school in Colombia, I enrolled at the University for Environmental Sciences because we did not have a biology program. I did a couple of semesters there, and then after that we moved to the US in 1998, and I had the privilege to go to the University for Biology, which is what I was really interested in at the time. So I became a student at the community college. I was a student at Mesa College, but I actually took classes at all Mesa, Miramar, and City College. And immediately after I started, I knew that I wanted to transfer to a university, so I took all the science requirements to transfer to UC San Diego, and I took all the required science classes, and then I moved off to UC San Diego. And immediately after I transferred, I contacted a lot of professors telling them that I was a junior that had just transferred to the university and I wanted to do some research. And so I enrolled in the program of Ecology, Behavior, and Evolution at UCSD, and I got recruited by two professors at UCSD. Both had just started their tenure at the university, and one taught me a lot about just general lab maintenance and being a lab assistant and helping other graduate students succeed in their graduate projects. But the one that was most influential was Dr. James Nye, who's still a faculty professor at UC San Diego, who studies the behavioral ecology of honeybees, both the European honeybee and stingless honeybees in the tropics. I knew that I wanted to do something in the tropics because I am from South America, and I wanted to do something at a place where I could relate to. And immediately he recruited me to start doing research with stingless honeybees in Brazil. So that's how I started my career studying honeybees. That was in 2001, so by now I've been working and studying with honeybees for about 10 years. And through networking, after I finished at UCSD, I applied for PhD programs in 4 different schools across the country. I got accepted into all 4 of them, and I chose to then enroll in a PhD program at Cornell University in upstate New York, in Ithaca. And that's where I started my PhD in behavioral ecology in the Department of Animal Behavior and Neurobiology and Behavior, actually. And that was in 2004, and I obtained my PhD in January of 2010. I did obtain some financial aid. Most of it was merit-based because at the time our family did not qualify for college kids to get Pell Grants, but it was affordable to go to community college. So for the first 2 years, I did not really have to get any loans or financial aid. When I moved to UC San Diego, I did have to obtain some subsidized loans from the government, which were incredibly helpful and which I'm still paying, but I'm really glad that I got. And I started applying for every possible scholarship and or fellowship that I could in while at UC San Diego, and I obtained upwards of $10,000 worth of scholarships. Most importantly, most of the money that I received in scholarships went to paying for tuition and room and board for the University of California-wide program of tropical biology in Monteverde, Costa Rica, where I was a student for a full quarter in 2003. And there I conducted my first independent project with stingless honeybees. Got some funding also from Dr. James Nye, and that allowed me to get some notoriety and some help to get into graduate school. And so I was in Costa Rica doing independent research after the tropical biology program for about a couple of months, and then I moved in 2004 to Ithaca. So I did receive a lot of financial support from private organizations at the university, and also some subsidized loans from the government that allowed me to complete my bachelor's degree. My degree has allowed me to travel all over the world. I have been really lucky that I have a very flexible schedule as a scientist, and this is not just pertaining to me, but for a lot of people. You get to travel to different cities across the state where you live, the country, and the world, participating in scientific conferences that take place yearly or biannually, and where you can show your research results to your peers, because that's the most important aspect of the scientific community, is that everything that you do is supposed to be open to the public once you're ready to publish it, and it's supposed to be peer reviewed. So your progress is measured by your peers, and the level of your success is shown by the results of the research that you conduct, and how well you can present those results to your peers in the scientific community. Yes, I do want to be a college professor. In fact, so I graduated in January 2010. After you complete a PhD, you go into, most people in science go into this scientific or professional limbo, they call it, which is called your postdoctoral research tenureship, which is the one that I am in right now. So I obtained, as soon as I graduated from my PhD, I obtained a 3-year fellowship from the National Science Foundation. I get all of my stipend paid for by the National Science Foundation, so I'm almost like an independent agent that's associated with the university at North Carolina State University. But I am almost like my own boss. I have a supervisor, but I have my own funding, not just for my salary, but also for research funds and travel funds. And so while you're doing your postdoctoral tenure, you are not just conducting for the first time real independent research, but you're also in the process of looking for employment. And that depends on you whether you want to move off to industry or to only teaching, which most likely would lead you to applying for professorships at liberal arts colleges, or you apply to jobs at research universities, which is what I intend to do and I have been doing. So this year, for instance, I interviewed at 2 universities, the University of California, Davis, and the Ohio State University for a position at the assistant professor level. I did not obtain any of those 2 jobs, but I can say that I was one of 4 interviewees at each institution out of hundreds of applicants, and I was also the only woman in both jobs or both positions that got an invitation for an interview. So that alone is quite telling as far as the promise or the prospect for a candidate. So I'm still in the process of looking for jobs. When you're a scientist, most jobs become available in the fall. So last fall I applied for a couple of jobs, and this fall I will be applying to a couple of them, and so on and so forth. And meanwhile, you conduct your research, you go and present your research results at different venues, meetings, professional meetings, and or you do, which is something that I'm really interested in doing, is communicating their results to the general public. So I do a lot of extension talks to beekeepers across the state of North Carolina and a lot of other states in the Southeast. And all of that experience hopefully will help me become more competitive in the job market. Being bilingual has been an incredible asset. When you travel to scientific conferences, there are a lot of people from Latin American countries that attend the meeting, and you talk with them in Spanish. You make an instant connection that goes beyond your scientific interests in common with people that speak your own language other than English. So being a Spanish speaker has helped me tremendously in being more competitive in the job market, because I could, if I wanted to, which I haven't explored yet, if I wanted to, I could potentially apply for jobs in Latin American countries or even Spain for that matter. So being bilingual has been really, really helpful for my career. I would encourage everyone and anyone, especially women who want to pursue a scientific career, to start early with a lot of hard work, dedication, and eagerness to succeed. I am a living example of how far you can get if you put all your effort and heart into what you love doing. I'm not only belonging to a cultural minority in the United States as a Hispanic person, but I belong to even a yet smaller minority, which is women in science. And there are several programs and initiatives to fund women in science, because there is very few women that become scientists. Not only that, there might be some, or of course there are a lot of women that are pursuing PhD careers and master's degrees and certificate programs, but a lot of them desert or leave their profession once they become family members or they become mothers. So there's a lot of encouragement out there that is quite relatively new for universities to encourage women to stay in academia and help them deal with the fact that they will very likely have a family as well as a career. And there are a lot of programs that help women in science stay in their academic careers while they are also pursuing a family life. So I would say to any woman that wants to become a scientist, that is very possible to do. There are a lot of resources available, not just monetary, but also intellectual and support groups that will help you succeed in your academic pursuits. I am one of the few bilingual, if maybe a handful of bilingual women in the small cohort of bee biologists in the country, and so I think that it's quite doable, and I am very proud of the opportunities that I have been given in this country, and I think I am a living example of how love and support from your family and your own work and dedication in your career can get you far in life.